Hey, it's Dave, this guy here. So, two quick things before we begin. First of all, this is a response to Why the God of the Bible by Philo71. Guys who are commenting down below, try to be nice. You can be as mean as you want to me, I don't care, but try to be nice to Tony because him and I do get along. This is just sort of me saying that you're wrong, Tony. But anyway, and the second thing is you're gonna have to try and keep up with me because I've got a lot to talk about and a short time to do it within. So let's see how this one goes. Okay, so first of all, you start with the definition of a god, and you sort of hem and haw over it and say that a god is someone who is the creator of the universe or the ruler of the universe. I would disagree with you there because, say in like Greek mythology or the Norse gods, pretty much all of them had no part in any sort of creation whatsoever. The definition of a god is just a supernatural being, and being a god makes no pointing toward any sort of measure of power, works, morality, mortality, or knowledge. So, definition of a god: supernatural being. That's it. Which some people may worship, something like that. Yeah. Then you try and say that the reason that your religion is the right one over other religions is because it has certain unique qualities. Having unique qualities doesn't make your religion or your football team right or better or more plausible to exist. It just makes it different, that's all. It doesn't make it right. You said a few times in the video that resurrections don't happen every day. If you've read your Bible, you'll know that Jesus resurrects a dead girl, that he himself resurrects, that whenever he resurrects, everyone in the graveside comes up, walks around town, and starts talking to their loved ones again. So, yeah, it not happening a lot? Yeah, well, within your own Bible it happens a lot. Within mythology in general, happens a lot. So you then say that oh, there's no evidence for the resurrection. Well, there is, and then you move on. Might have helped if you cited some of that, but meh. Okay, so yeah, you try and quote a objection to prophecy by saying that oh well, it could have been written later. That's not the usual objection I've heard. The usual objection I heard is that it was written, then the people who were writing the New Testament had read the Old Testament and then could write their stories to fit in and lie about the prophecy having been fulfilled, which makes a lot more sense, really. Then you move on to the Gospel of John, and you say that it was definitely one of the apostles. That's highly questionable. That was the long-held belief, I think, since like the 2nd century, 2nd or 3rd century anyway. But the timescale doesn't seem to fit because best estimates seem to be between 60 and 140 CE. Most scholars would say 90 to 100. So, say a 40-year-old man, that would be John, was alive, was that age whenever Jesus died. So that would have been 30 CE. You then have to wait at minimum another 30 years for him to be writing, so in this case he would be nearly dead. And at most, you have another 110 years. So, chances are it wasn't him. There's also no evidence either way. Even within the text itself, it does not say that this is John writing. Just like none of the Gospels say who it is. They're all just randomly assigned names, most of which are highly questionable. I think the only one that really fits is Luke. That's the one that sort of no one really knows about and just says, yeah, sure, why not, it'll be Luke. Yes. Whenever you talk about the resurrection, you keep saying that people are asking for it to be proven, that there is evidence, or that it can be proven or needs to be proved. You can't prove anything, especially within history, because no one's there, or sorry, distant history. You can build up evidence. There is no such thing as proof outside of the realms of mathematics. So every time you say proven or proof, I'm just going to take it as evidence. So yeah, first-hand accounts, eyewitness accounts, I would never have said that needs to be a definite thing, although it would help. But yeah, first-hand accounts are usually highly unreliable, they're biased, they're inaccurate. So, but to say that this is the way that history is written is no. History and the way it's written is uses a multitude of sources, both primary and secondary. Most common of which is official accounts or official records. None of which mention Christ. I think there was one historian that mentions Christos, which wouldn't make sense anyway, because he wasn't referred to as a Christ then. Especially, well, no, sorry, he was actually referred to as Christ, but he wouldn't have been referred to as Christ in official records. He would have been referred to as Yeshua. So there's no mention of the Yeshua. Well, there probably is, but not that one. So then we move on to, yeah, you said that the only way that any religion could spread as fast as Christianity was from stories being spread of a miracle zombie god. Now this makes no sense, because it's not how it was spread at all. Christianity, just like Judaism and just like Islam, were all spread via mass wars and then indoctrination after that. And you also say that the only way we would see such a massive personality change in someone like Saul de Paul is through seeing a god or meeting a god or whatever, and that there's no other way, and it wouldn't happen nowadays either. Well, what? Through family tragedy, near-death encounters, recovery from an illness or addiction, these cause massive personality changes as well. And then you move on to the movie Religulous, which I actually liked as a movie. Yes, indeed, you said that there were some things that were wrong about it. It was sort of very first year theology. It was sort of kind of awkward in parts of it. I was sort of going, no, that's clearly not right. But you say that this has some sort of ulterior motive. I have to laugh at that, because whenever you have movies on the other side, like Expelled, yeah, it doesn't really, you can't really take the moral high ground with that one. Religulous did a far better job at being honest, and pretty much just asking questions. That's what it did most of the time, just ask questions. It didn't assert anything. And yeah, final point. So the title of your video was Why the God of the Bible. I ask you this: why the God of the Bible, especially with the New Testament, with Jesus saying, I will return before some of you here taste death, or before this generation passes. Now, I can't actually remember the exact verse for that, or the other bit in the Old Testament where it says that if a prophet says something that does not come to pass, then what he has said is not from the mouth of God, and therefore should not be believed or feared. He didn't come back, and all the people in that generation died. So I'm just saying. Okay, that's me. Tony, if you want to get back to me, feel free. And everybody else, comment, rate, subscribe, and I shall see you guys later. Bye.